that really drove home for me the importance of like validating demand before you actually build the business is seeing what happened with the metaverse. So they decided to shut down after like spending like $7 billion on the metaverse, and it just goes to show you that like part of the problem was that there just wasn't enough demand for it because there just wasn't a good enough experience for people to want to spend their time in it, and so the value just wasn't there. But because they built something first and then tried to sell it to people versus them listening to what's actually happening in the world, everyone uses AI. They're like, oh, this is where we need to be. That's the lesson that I learned from this experience. Because if someone as big as Facebook and Meta and Instagram, because they're all owned by the same company, are or they are the same company, are making the same mistakes that early entrepreneurs are making, then obviously we can learn from them so we don't make them ourselves. So that's it. So that example is really just to drive home the fact that it's so important to find demand first, right? Then build. Then build. And so I think I call this responding to demand. It is the most important thing that you can learn because all you have to do, it actually tells you what your business is and what it's going to be. Because when you respond to demand, first you found demand, so you see the channels in which people are finding you or finding your solution. But more important than that, it tells you what to give them, what to serve them. So if the problem is like you have a bunch of hungry people, you know to serve them food. So you just find the problem and then you provide the solution rather than trying to create something and then find people who might find value out of it. You see how one would require so much extra time, effort, resources, money in order to find the right people for it versus finding a pocket of demand and then just serving those people. Oh yeah, along those lines, so that's a huge thing that I like to do is I like to find problems. So let's say this is one, and then two to validate an idea before you actually put resources behind building it. I think always find a problem is always a good one, and then provide a solution. And there are endless problems in the world. People are frustrated, people are upset, people are, wish things were different. All of those are opportunities. The obstacle is the path. And so the obstacle, whatever's providing friction, whatever's providing a problem, an issue to people, that's what your opportunity is to solve it and provide a solution that you can charge them money for to solve the problem for them. So provide a solution. Right, so even I was at the Nike store the other day, and I noticed that for all my running shoes, because I like to run, I always put a cushion pad, like one of those like slip-ins, to just make it softer. Maybe it's because I like run for an hour when I run, so my feet would get hurt otherwise. And I was just like, this shows that there's demand for a shoe that is a running shoe that has extra comfort built into it, right? And so that's an idea of just like there's a problem, provide a solution. So yeah, feel free to take that one if anyone's into the shoe business. Okay. And then with that, with finding problems, I think, and that was a good example, is to be more specific, the better. So being general doesn't help anyone because it's not fine-tuned enough to actually be worth people spending their money on. But something like that, finding runners with even, I think, what is it, plantar or something, like flat feet or something? Not that I have that, but, or runners who experience foot fatigue and making more comfortable shoes for them, that's a specific enough problem that is worth solving. So I digress. That's everything that I wanted to start off with. So that's the importance of making sure you find demand first and then you respond to it. All right, as with that, now it's time for the meat of the video, what we're here for, the strategies, the process. So there's a couple different strategies I use to find demand first before I build something. And so I'm going to run through those with you guys right now. So strategies for finding demand. Okay, so my very first one and my very favorite one, because it shows that people put their money where their mouth is paid ads by competitors. Paid ads by competitors. I always say you guys should like write this stuff down with me, but I will provide an AI made summary of all the key points that is in the free download below. So you can check that there if you're not going to write things down. I fully get it. So paid ads by competitors is beautiful because what it does is When you go to Meta Facebook library, ad library, or Google has one too, and I think TikTok has one. No, I know TikTok has one also. So that's three different ad libraries. You can go and check what people are putting their money behind offers to give to people. Not only does that tell you who they're targeting, because you see the ad and you see who it's for, but you also see which ones are successful. So you see the successful angles. So like what's the value proposition, and then also you see how you can actually advertise your offer in a way that gets a response. So it's really the ultimate cheat sheet. So this is always the first one I do. Paid ads by competitors. And so those are the three resources, like I said. So we have Meta Ad Library. We have Google. It's not called Google Ad Library. It's called Google Ad something, but I'll just call it the same thing. And then we have TikTok's Ad Library. And the reason why they do that is that they want you, they want you spending so much money on their site and to keep getting it. So they want you to have the best results possible. So they make people's ads available for everyone to see. So, which is beautiful and smart. And we're going to take advantage of that, right? So let's go to an example. Okay, so here we have an example where it says we have a new AI food scanner that takes the guesswork out of tracking. Easier weight loss now, even simpler, right? So obviously weight loss. So they're targeting people who want to lose weight. So that's good. We know what their solution is, an AI-based food scanner, right? With AI coding, nowadays, that's something that you can build. This is a great way to validate demand first. They're obviously putting money behind this. It's an ad. These are all paid ads. Look at how many ads they have. So we know that this is something that's worth doing, and this is something that's bringing them results. And so, yeah, this is just a prime example. We can even look at all the other different angles they have for it. So there are different ways that you could sell the same thing. Balancing your goals with food. They provide proof examples of other people who use their system and like lose the weight. They, full weight watchers upgrade is here. New tools to guide you. New tools to track your progress. Everything's about new ways of doing the same thing. So yeah, these are just different ways to like see that, okay, this brand is solving a specific pain point problem. They're providing new ways to do it, right? They're providing a simple solution, and they're giving us their playbook on how they choose to advertise it in order to reach those people. And we know who they're targeting because it's a weight loss app. So obviously they're targeting people who want to lose weight. So if I was considering making some sort of calorie tracking app, a weight loss app, a fitness app, like this is some of this research I'd be doing. This is just one part of it. I would look at other competitors for other brands and other, things within the niche of fitness and see what I can do to make mine better, compete, and provide more value to my customers versus my competition. So with that, obviously paid ads by competitors is my favorite way to validate demand first. I like to see what other people are putting their millions of ad dollars behind in order to promote, so I can see what angles I should be tackling, what solutions I should be providing, and how I can compete in the best way possible. Okay, so that's my biggest hack first. Paid ads by competitors, look at them. It really helps. Okay, next. Like I said at the beginning of the story, I had a tool website that gave me organic SEO. So organic SEO is just people searching for things across the internet. 100%, that's just what it is. People are searching for something, whether it's a solution, whether it's information, whether it's to find a specific site, whatever. People are searching for things. And so search engine optimization means that you get to rank for that search intent. So someone's searching for pies within Winnetka, Minnesota. If you are a pizza pie or a pie making company or a bakery there, you get to rank for that if you make a URL that would serve that intent with keywords, and there's different ways to rank. But why this is great is because, like at the beginning of the video, I said, I had a site that purely just told me what the demand was that people were searching for on the internet, just based on tools. So this one's also a really great demand searcher, finder, idea validator, because you find, okay, think about what it gives you. Organic SEO is giving you those people who are looking for that exact solution. They send them to your site, so it's not like you have to go and advertise in order to get them. And that then tells you what your onloading process is going to be, because they land on your URL page, which means that your funnel starts there. It's not like I am sending mailers out, or I'm sending ads out, or I'm doing word of mouth, or I'm doing, a growth loop. It's pure just they land on the URL page, sell them the thing, like serve their intent in a way that serves you as well. So let's take a look at exactly what I'm talking about so that we have a visual. Okay, so this is my site before I switched it to being where I turned it into my courses site where I sell all my courses. But before it was a tool site. And so people would come to the site and they would use my tools. And then that's how I would find out what there is demand for, especially organically. So a good example is I had an AI thumbnail coach, which is where people would upload their thumbnails that they made for YouTube and to the AI chat. And then based on the rules that I set for the AI, it would grade them, rate them, and then give them improvements. Right. And it was also using its own like proprietary like understanding of YouTube and everything else because I use Google Gemini, which is Google owns YouTube, so that was the best model. Anyway, there was lots of demand for this. So even though it only says it got 11 clicks, this wasn't accurate. I didn't know how to set up the pixel properly when I first started, and then I switched the site anyway. But I was getting a lot of traction for this, and so even just based on the impressions, this shows that there's not a lot of like supply for this amount of demand. And so my little site with only 25 index pages was getting lots of traffic from people just organically trying to search for this tool. And so that's how I knew I was like, okay, this is an opportunity for me to make a bigger proper like platform app out of this and get subscriptions and get subscription money. And so yeah, it just validated the idea. I said, okay, here is tons of demand for this. I'm going to serve the intent. I'm going to create a solution for it. And so another example is the keyword finder. So obviously that's for SEO. People are searching for things. They want to rank for the keywords. They want to rank for the intent. And so the people were coming to my site to use my keyword finder tool. So I was like, okay, I can build a more robust one, because especially because those things make a lot of money. People are willing to pay a lot of money for them. So I was like, okay, here's an opportunity for me to create something to solve this problem. People want a keyword finder tool, right? Even the vocal melody extractor, like that led to me making a whole site, another tool site, but just based on audio tools, so people can come use the audio tools online and then get their output. I rate gate it so that they have to pay me after a certain amount of use. But you see how just understanding like having a tool site with all the demand being served, it just showed me what is their demand for, what is not, what are the gaps in the market, and then I can fill them. And so a really good example is this photo gallery maker. Like 277 impressions for a site that just started is crazy. And it's because there's a huge gap in the market there. I already filled it, so don't worry about it. But this is exactly how I like decide what to make. This is how I validate my business ideas before I get them, because it shows me that there's literal demand for it, and it shows me how I'm going to get my customers and everything. And then getting the customers is free. Google just sends them to you. And I didn't even get most of my customers from Google, which is why these numbers are low, because I didn't know how to set up the tracking properly. But most of them came from being recommended from ChatGPT. Like, truly. That's where the majority of my traffic was coming from. So this isn't even reflectant of what the actual amount of traffic you're getting. And then also people always like bookmark the tools or bookmark your site if it's useful. So there's that too, which means word of mouth is going to happen. Regardless, this is a very good strategy for validating demand. Between looking at paid ads for competitors and looking at organic SEO, very helpful. Okay. All right, next up, I wanted to talk to you guys about one of my other favorite strategies. And maybe this is because I specialize in apps and like scaling apps. So a lot of my stuff is focused on app making, which is inherently a digital product. But I love to go to Product Hunt. So let's write it down, Product Hunt. And I love to just see what other people are launching, because it gives me an opportunity to see what is working, what's not. And it's like a conglomeration of the market of what demand is there. People literally upvote their favorite stuff. And so you just say, okay, there's demand for this, there's demand for that, there's demand for this, there's demand for that. Like, it's just so helpful. So let's take a look at it. Okay, so this is, let me make sure I'm recording. So this is producthunt.com. And so what you do is this is the homepage, and you just find all the different things that real businesses and then like also solo developers are launching and that are doing well. So this is like represents the amount of upvotes it got. So this is the most popular thing that we're launching today. This is the second most popular. This is the third most popular. And so you see that like, okay, growth analytics for agentic web. If this is the most popular tool that was, or like capability, utility, app business that was launched today, this shows me that there is demand for this. So an analytics company for agents or for AI agents or for helping AI agents, or I mean, we can literally just go in and see what it is, right? What is their value proposition? Track how AI agents and bots interact with your website, analyze traffic trends, and see how this turns into human visits. Okay, so people want analytics for their sites. People want analytics to see how AI agents and traffic are using their sites and the difference between the two. Like, this is something that we can work on. This is something that we can seed and start, and then we just build, right? So, perfect example. Let's do another one. Um, I wonder if they have yesterday's. Yesterday's top launch. Well, Claude's a big one. Manage rules. Okay, so Strayon, manage rules for AI coding agents, right? So here is clearly, again, a problem. People love coding, so with AI agents and creating stuff, but AI agents can run rampant and run wild a little bit. And so they provided a solution, and so they provided rules to help your AI agent, coding agents, stay on track. Again, found a problem, provided a solution. We can do something similar for our people. We can do something similar for our traffic. We can do something similar. Or, if they do it in one specific way, maybe they have a markdown file that you have to upload. You can do it in a different way. So you can provide rules for AI coding agents, but have it delivered differently. Maybe yours is from the local files of your computer. Maybe yours is a cloud thing that people sync to. Maybe yours has easier setup. There's different ways you can compete, but at least you now know what there is demand for, what to build, and your only thing you have to figure out is how can I do it differently or how can I do it better? What bottlenecks can I remove? What friction can I remove that they still have? And that's going to lead us to one of the next actual things to find that out, which is comments. One of the next strategies. Looking at the comments. So you can look at Reddit, you can look at Quora, you can look at Facebook and Instagram, like look at the comments of things or even reviews on Google, and you'll see what the problems are and you can provide solutions to them. I'm sure this thing has problems. Let's find out. Congrats on the launch. Totally see the need, as I'm often afraid that my coding assistant is steadily drifting away from our coding guidelines. Am I also able to set up different coding rules depending on the tech stack of my project and teams, web, Python, etc.? Perfect example. So you want to serve this same demand. You found a competitor. You found that they have a successful business model or whatever. You can copy everything, but you make sure that yours allows people to be able to have different setup coding rules depending on the tech stack. And that's your main feature. Coding rules for AI agents, like specified to your tech stack. And you can make the UI, like the user interface or the user design, so simple that like the most basic, 90-year-old grandma who has no idea how to even open a computer knows how to use it. And that's your value proposition. And you see that instead of creating something and hope people like it, we're here finding out what the problems are, finding what the issues are, knowing that there's demand, knowing that there's a need for this, and so we can make money. So useful, so helpful. Definitely look at the comments. And like I said, you can look at Google reviews, you can look at Reddit, you can look at social media comments. Like, you can go to Product Hunt and look at the comments. Like, it's perfect. What a great strategy. Definitely do this. Okay, let's pause. Now, tying this all back in, when we talked about tools earlier, we saw that keyword finding tool is one of the important tools that I was getting demand for, traffic to my site for. Well, I also use a keyword finding tool. I haven't made one myself, but it's because I use one that's like so good that I don't even think I would be able to compete. Most of the time, like the professional ones are like SEMrush, which is like $200 a month, very expensive. But I like to use something called Ubersuggest. So this is another one of the strategies I use to validate a business idea before I go and start building it and putting my days into coding and whatever else. So Ubersuggest is a keyword finding tool. Oh, let's pull it up. So this is Ubersuggest. Oh, let me make sure. Yeah. Okay, we're good. So this is Ubersuggest, and this is one of my favorite sites. It really helps me like decide what to build, what the demand is. Like, I love this thing. Okay. So I bought the lifetime membership, so I don't have to keep paying for it over and over and over and over again because I use it so much. But otherwise there's monthly subscriptions that are cheaper. but it literally tells you how many people are looking for any specific keyword phrase or combination of words on Google or across the internet, and how hard it is to rank for them, right? This is how I decided what tools to make for my tool site. And so here we see that there are 3.4 million people every single month looking for a mortgage calculator, but it's very hard to rank for. But that's a lot of people every month. So imagine you have that many people from the traffic going to your mortgage calculator, like going to your site, and then you sell them, a proper app for mortgaging or applying for houses or whatever. Same thing for calculator for calories, like a million people looking for that every single day. Every single month. So it shows you what the interest is, it shows you what the demand is, but this shows you that it's difficult to rank for those ones. But let's find something that would be easier to rank for, which means that there's a gap in the market. There's lots of people looking for it, but no one's provided a solution. So one is a calculator, one rep max. I don't know what that means, so I wouldn't do that one. Calculator for slope, I think that's like a math thing. I hate math. But here we have this one, right? Calculator Pokemon. Now, being born in the mid-90s, I love Pokemon, and I still look forward to it every time they release a game. But there's 12,000 people looking for calculator Pokemon, or for that keyword phrase, and so you can also rank for the other ones, combinations, Pokemon calculator, etc., every single month, and no one has really taken it. It's an easy SEO difficulty, which means that my next app I'm going to make is probably going to be a Pokemon calculator. What are we calculating? The stats, the different type combinations and how they go against each other, all the different views, ways to evolve a Pokemon. Like, there's so much you can do with that. And maybe you charge a subscription in order to be able to access it, or to create, use AI to make images with it or something. I don't know. We'll find a way to monetize, but first you want to capture the traffic. And what this shows us is here is basically a business opportunity. We have demand, no one is serving it, and so here is our opportunity. And you know how you really know there's an opportunity? It's $4.22 to bid for each keyword. Each click is worth $4. Someone is paying that much money in order to get the traffic from there. So if you can get it for free, that's a huge opportunity. Even the arbitrage of that. So yeah, I love Ubersuggest. It is godly to me. Love it. So useful, so helpful. The best thing ever. Okay, so we talked about Ubersuggest. Let's actually go over everything we talked about so far. So we talked about paid ads by competitors, the most useful. I think that's great because it packages everything for you. I think Product Hunt is the same thing, where it packages everything for you. It shows you what the demand is, what the problems are, how to target them, how to advertise. Like, it's great. Organic SEO, huge superpower, and the importance of that, and how we use Ubersuggest in order to find that, right? So those are my main strategies. But then I also told you guys about, running and how I like to run, and that's a passion of mine. And how I was having a problem where I always have to make the shoe more comfortable for myself. And so that leads me to this next strategy that I use, which is just my daily life. My daily life, right? Where is there friction? Where is there friction? Why isn't there a solution? Because those are the two main questions. Where is there friction in my life, and why isn't there a solution? Now, am I going to go and compete with Nike and go to Japan and get a company to manufacture sneakers and try to sell them? No, that's not the business I'm going to be in. Although I'd hope someone would do that. But it just shows you that there's an opportunity there. And so it could be the most small and minuscule, minute thing. It could be picking up a kid from after school and having issues with that. You can create a scheduling app for that. It could be finding out where someone is after you lost your phone, or getting home. Let's say you live in a city where you have to take an Uber, but you lost your phone. I don't know. There's so many opportunities of just friction in the world, problems that need to be solved, and you have the opportunity to solve them for a price. Make sure you get served too. So I think that's another one where you can really just validate some ideas. If you yourself would pay for this, or pay for a solution, then other people who are experiencing the same problem would too. So, and that also tells you the pricing, because if it's worth, $100 to you, but not worth $200 to you, not to price it at $200. So my daily life is where I think about things a lot, like truly, especially in building a business. There's a lot of issues you come across, and you're just like, oh, I can make a solution for this. Oh, I can make a solution for this. Oh, I can make a course for this. Oh, I can, like, you know what I mean? There's just so much out there. So really, just look at your daily life and see what you're coming across friction, what your issues are, and like that will guide you. The obstacle is the path. That's like my mantra. The obstacle is the path. Wherever there are problems, there is money to be made. And then lastly, I wanted to talk about this one in particular because I think that a lot of people see this as a negative. My sister came to visit, and I was telling her about one of the apps I made, and I remember she said, and I love her to death, but she said, oh, that exists already. And in my head, I'm like, that's a great thing. If it exists, it means it works, right? Like, if you're creating something and it doesn't exist, it's probably because, like, there's no demand for it. Nobody wants that. It doesn't work. But if it exists and there's money behind it and there's a business that's already there and profitable and thriving behind it, even systems are like that. If there's a system that works, you want to use it. Like, if it exists, it's a good thing. And so oftentimes, like, all right, let's write that down. So, does it exist? Does it exist? If the answer is yes, then that's good. Because it's proof. It's proof of demand. It's proof that it works. It's proof that people want this and are willing to pay for it. It's proof. It's up to you to then decide, okay, how can I compete? How can I do it better? How can I do it in a different way? How can I target different people? How can I do it with less friction involved? How can I do it for a price that is more amicable? Or maybe it's even higher than the other competitors because I'm putting so much service behind it that only a certain level of people would amount of people would want to pay that much for it. Like, there's so many different ways to take something and morph it to work for you and your system and your business, that if anything, you want to look at things that work. You want to look at where there's proven business models that you can adapt for yourself. Does it exist? Yes, then that's good. And you know what my solution is for that all the time? Whenever it does exist and I need to compete, I niche down. I go more specific. So going back to that Weight Watchers, like, calorie app thing, like, that's something that everyone has to deal with. People all have to eat or else we would die. They're choosing, for the most part, it looked like they were marketing towards women, right? So you can market towards men. You can market towards men of a certain age, older men. You can market towards, I don't know, teenagers. Teenagers also go through, like, body issues. I work as a high school teacher during the day. And so there's different ways you could target certain people. Like, the needs that you would serve or the features and the values you would give for a teenager is not going to be the same as an older man who's, trying to monitor his health but, like, not overdo it, right? It's just different features, and you can specify, you can niche down and target just those people. It also makes your CPMs, your cost of advertising to reach those people, a lot cheaper because you're more specific and because you serve their needs more specifically. So whenever I come across, does it exist? I think that's not only a good thing, that's a great thing. It lights the path forward for you. It shows you what works, how to do it, what the angles are, how to do it properly, what solution to provide, and then how you can adapt it for yourself. So yeah, okay. Whew, that was a doozy. But as you can tell, I love talking about this stuff. But yes, so those are my frameworks that I use. That is my process for how I validate a business idea before I go ahead and try to actually put resources behind building it and marketing it and putting time that I don't get back into building it. So just to review everything, we said there was paid ads, there's organic SEO. I use Product Hunt a lot. That's a huge trick right there. Same with Uber Suggest. My daily life and just living, and then also, does it exist? Because that's a good thing. If there's competitors and there's business models that you can model that are proven to work, by all means, you should do that. All right, so that concludes this module, this micro course, this video, and I hope everything I taught you is useful. I hope you guys utilize it and use the information. A lot of it comes from trial and error for myself. And yeah, like I said, my freebies are below. You'll get them in the description. Lots of value there. Definitely just go, access it, use it for your own business, use it to improve your life, because that's what this is here for. I'm here to help. So I will catch you guys on the next video.